guys, Danielle at Danielle TBD.
Marisa at Marisa Rothman.
And this is We Have Thoughts, mid-season report card edition.
Second annual.
Yes, I was going to say, some of you may remember last year we did this where we took a look at a few comedies and a few dramas and we graded their seasons so far. Not calendar year, just the season. So we're doing that again,
Yes.
and we're going to start with
Stop
comedies.
waving your card.
Yeah. Oh, can you see my grade?
I
Uh-oh.
saw the colors. They're
Well,
colors.
we're going to start with comedies, and what we did, we each graded our own, and we're going to surprise each other. And if we graded them the same way, maybe we'll give each other some prizes. There are cookies here. It's the
There are
holidays.
cookies.
I don't know.
This is brand new information to me.
So we'll start with Parks and Recreation, which is not one that we talked about last year, but we did this year. So you want to flip it over?
1, 2, 3.
What'd you
Oh,
do?
so
Oh, very
close.
close. Okay. Well, so I couldn't really grade it against itself this year because we didn't talk about it last year.
Right.
So I kind of looked at it in the sense of everything I loved about this season is why I love the show in general. Like the surprises, the fact that, Ben proposed at kind of a time when you wouldn't expect it. The fact that Ron is in a
spoiled on
relationship.
it.
Well, yes, but the fact that Ron is in a relationship in a way that you might not expect, and all of those elements of the characters that I love. The only reason I gave it an A- instead of an A is because there are a few little things that, like, I was really hoping they would do more holiday themed stuff. Like last year they had a great
Yes.
Halloween party episode, they had a great Christmas episode, and I'm a little selfish, and that is something I love comedies to do because those are characters where they thrive in those kinds of quirky environments anyway, and they didn't really do that this year. They've been busy. They've been focused on other things. They've given us great guest stars, as they always have, in other areas, whatever. But the last episode before break was Ron and Diane, which was ultimately the Christmas episode, but it was not really Christmas at all. And so I felt a little cheated. I do. It left me wanting a little something more. And so, obviously the episodes they come back with, I'm sure will give me what I love about the show, but I don't know, I feel like there was a little something missing because Pawnee is so quirky and that's such a time for that.
I'm just so amused that she graded it down because they didn't have holiday episodes.
I'm sorry. I really it's the holiday season right now. It's on my mind,
Well,
whatever.
at least she can admit it's her own thing. See, whereas for me, a year ago, Parks and Rec wasn't really on my radar. Like, I had watched the first season. I had kind of put up with the first season. Like, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it, but not enough. And I watched a couple episodes of season 2, and it wasn't enough for me, and I dropped it because Thursday night's just a nightmare. And then everyone was telling me, no, seriously, this show is amazing. Like, I don't think I've ever had anyone recommend a show to me as much as I've had Parks and Rec recommend it to me. And that's saying a lot, because a lot of people have a lot of opinions about what I should watch, which I guess is fair because of the whole drop thing, so totally fine. And so I ended up watching, appropriately enough, the Christmas episode from last year.
So good.
And I was like, okay, I was wrong. I don't say that very often, because I'm very rarely wrong. And so I watched a lot of it this year, and, having that benefit of, watching so much of it in just such a short amount of time, I was kind of worried about what I'd think about this season. And like you were saying, so much of what I love about the show has been showcased here. That proposal, good Lord. Yes, the network may have ruined it for those of us in the press with their email, which sucked a little bit because had it not been ruined in the email, it would have been a genuine shock. But that didn't take away the specialness of the moment.
No,
the
not at
show
all.
it's one of the few shows that I put on, and whether I physically laugh or not, and I think I almost always do at this point, it makes my heart happy. And it's such a good show. I think it's the best comedy on television, and it's just underrated, and you people should be, Emmy voters, listen to us occasionally. We have some good television taste. Amy Poehler, the show, nominate them. Make them nominate.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about a real reason aside from the holidays, the only thing I'll say is that part of why I think for me it was an A- on A was also just because there are still some characters. We're in the 5th season, and there are still some characters that are kind of just there, and they're not really being used that much, and that bums me out a little. And like I get it, there's a lot of people to service, and yeah, obviously Leslie is the heart and soul of the show, and
Right.
she needs to be front and center. But at the same time, in the 5th season, there should, if you're not going to use them, then you need to drop them.
See, whereas I feel like when
So-
they do use them, they're used so well. Like Retta.
Yeah, I love
Is-
her for what she
For
I
what
love
she
her
brings,
and,
like, you know,
and
they
how
don't
they
use her all
wrote
the
in her
time.
tweeting.
Right, that was
I'm thinking
amazing.
honestly, I'm thinking more like Anne these days.
Oh,
She
poor
used
Anne.
to have a
Yeah.
storyline and now she doesn't, and so that kind of feels like, you know, they took a back step
Right.
with that, and so that makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
And so that's why, you know, I didn't grade it as high as I would have
wonder
graded
how
last
much
season
that-
had we done this last season.
Due to her. I mean, like,
No, I don't know the
No,
reason,
I
but
mean,
I'm just saying, like, overall,
Right,
like,
right.
in the enjoyment of the show.
And I honestly don't know, but I kind of wonder if, you know, Rashida Jones has a lot going on in her
Oh,
other
sure.
aspects of her career.
And
So
it-
I don't know
and that's
if
fine,
if
but
it's big
like,
because
then,
of that.
and that's fine. But with the little, then the little things that there are ways to do that. There are ways to then use her the way they use Retta, for example,
Right.
or even, you know, Tom is a different character this year. He's starting this Rent the Swag business, and so
Which is kind of amazing.
it is, but we haven't seen a lot of it
I know.
yet. So like, I want to see
Hoping-
more of it. I'm hoping we see more of it. So you know, if you use, there are ways to
Yeah.
kind of massage that. So I think it'll be an A by the end of the season, but we're only in the mid-season.
Also,
So-
Leslie Knope meeting Joe Biden, one
That
of
was-
my
yeah.
favorite moments on television all year. Good Lord, that woman, phenomenal.